Here it is, the 2022 New Holland T7 315 HD. But before we go and look at the cab, let's look around the exterior and see some of the other new features. Now these steps are a lot wider than the older model, and it gives a lot easier access to the cab. Before we get in there, as I said, we'll look at one big thing. One big difference is the size of this entry point here where your feet go in. But anyway, you may notice the actual mud guards, and again we can see that from inside better, but just to let you know, they've actually brought these down. So rather than being out and across, they've actually brought the actual shape around and down to give a lot better vision, and it does make a big difference. Right, nice, clear and concise back end, nicely laid out. But for those of you that used to run the old Fords, here's something which I think is a fantastic system, and it's great to see its return after all these years. Got your spools in, no more pushing and tugging to try and release the pressure. No, levers are back, look, release levers. Where have they been? You know, I know a lot of people have been asking, myself included, you know, where are they gone? We could do, oh, you don't need them. Yeah, we do, and they've listened and they're back. I like to see that. Right, so fender mounted controls. First off here, you've got your hitch control up and down on your link arms. You've also got the ability here to use your hydraulic top link if you've got one fitted, and you can do that. So when you try to hook onto a piece of equipment, you haven't got to keep going in and pulling the leaves up. You can do it all from out here and get it onto the top link pin. You've got obviously your PTO start on here, so you can, you know, once you've got it engaged, you've got to just tweak it round. You can't get the shaft on, you can do that from here. But this one here is really good, because if you're like running a pump on a slurry tank or something like that, or a big unit, from inside the cab you can set the engine speeds, 2 speeds, so you can have like idle and then a running speed. So once you've got all your hoses and everything connected, we'll say if we're going for a slurry tank or something like that, you can have it on at your idle. If you press this, it'll then rev up to your set parameter, so maybe giving you 540 or whatever. That can all be done from out here. But this, for me, is one of the best things on this machine, and it should be on all machines. This one button is what it's all about for me. Now, there's a big difference between what we're meant to do on paper and the real world. When time is short and pressure is on, yes, you're meant to stop everything, get out of the machine every time. Let's be honest, it doesn't happen. It's just the way things are. But in every other industry, be that construction, mining, the oil field, earth moving, every machine has at least one kill switch. Why have we got as far as we have in agriculture and got away without having one? Now, it's not to say others in the past haven't fitted them and that, but it hasn't ever caught on, has it? And it should. Because as I said, the reality is that if somebody was here and, you know, heaven forbid that they got trapped or caught and they can't get to the cab, they can push that and stop anything getting worse. Or if they were unconscious and somebody turns up, normally the people that turn up aren't from a farming background, they're just a passerby or whatever, a member of the public. They don't know what to press or turn off in there. There's an array of switches and levers and whatever. So that they're, you know, they don't know what to push could make something worse, or they just panic. But at least with that, doosh, and it kills it. Now, as I say, New Holland, I think, have done a fantastic job with this. And yeah, it's just amazing. One of the best features I've seen on a tractor. And I really think they should, you know, have the recognition that this deserves. And I'd like to see this fitted on tractors throughout the industry, every manufacturer to fit this. Because if this makes the difference between somebody going home at night to their family or not, just because they were able to stop the tractor and carry on their work safely, then that's one of the best things ever fitted. Other little things, little LED lights on each corner of each mudguard here. Reversing lights. So not only can you use them as work lights, every time you put it in reverse, you get a light on. That's brilliant because, you know, you're going into maybe a dark shed or you're backing up at stuff at night and you have to flick your work lights on, then you flick your work lights off. As soon as you put it in reverse, they come on. Little things like that. And you've seen that before on other machines and then it's disappeared again. And like I said, all these little innovations. This is what progress is all about. But at the moment, as we stand here today, New Holland seem to have a lot of this stuff in one package. And that's the difference. Again, down here on the front, this is obviously fitted with a front linkage and PTO, and you've got the ability to raise and lower the link arms. And again, if you've got hydraulic top link or anything like that on the service on there, you can do it all at the front as well as the PTO to get it to turn if you're putting a shaft on. So, let's have a look at this cab. Like I said, got a nice wider access steps going up now. So it's a lot easier to get up, but also this wider part here. So it was fairly narrow before, now it's nice and wide, so it's really good access as you're getting in. Okay, so the first thing we'll do, let's have a look at this new cab and the new layout. Okay, now the easiest way to break this down, we'll say into 3 C's. Comfort, configurability, and connectivity. So let's look at the first one, comfort. But first off, you got the seat. Now that seat, I can assure you, is one of the nicest seats in a tractor I've ever sat in. And you know, I just think that's just the way the cushions are sculpted. It's just nice and wide, and it just supports you from every angle. Now, for your passenger, you got that. So as I said, this seat, let's have a look at that first. So really nice, big, for once, passenger seat. But more to the point, that is a nice, deep cooler box. And it's big enough, not just for cans, but for bottles. And so you got a proper cooler box in here, with a proper seal, so everything stay cold. That folds down, you've also then got your in-cab office. And you got this here. Really nice amount of storage here, and it's also big enough to put your phone and all that in here and here, plus any other electronic stuff. You've got 3-point electrical socket here, plus a USB. Now here's the other nice thing, rather than normally if you've got charging cables and whatever, they're not in here, or you want something external out on here, normally the doors nip the wires. They've actually got a proper gap here, so the wires can come through without getting trapped. Down the side of the seat, there's plenty of room. There's actually a subwoofer down here, which is phenomenal. The stereo with this is amazing. Down the back here, loads of room for your dinner bag. There's an absolute raft of room here to put, say, your bag, another flask, whatever, for a long day. Then coming across to the other side, so obviously you've got down here as well, you've got your foot throttle. Down here, right tight to the back here, you've got an exhaust brake as well. If you look at the back of this throttle pedal, so we've got the cool box under the seat, but there's a little jack point at the back here, so you can have another cool box mounted there, fits in there, and you've got a power point for it. So you can actually double your cool box capacity in here. All your air vents are set so they demist and clear the windows quickly. So under this side of the seat, again, loads of storage here and a proper tray so things don't just slide forward. Over this side here, got some more deep storage bins here with rubber mats in the bottom so stuff doesn't slide about. This, obviously, you got a cup holder here, and it's a proper sized cup holder, because these days a lot of people don't just have a cup. They'll have like a travel mug, a thermal mug. And this is big enough to take that. Up the top of the cab here, you've got this little area here. with a little net on the front for more storage. There's just storage everywhere. Okay, and up this bank up here, you've got various other switches, cameras, your guidance and stuff like that. And you've got hazards. You've got your mirror controls here. So the mirror arms, they're telescopic. You can do it all from in here. And you can obviously alter each mirror. They're heated as well. You've got your stereo unit up here. So you've got your USB point in here. Obviously it's Bluetooth. It's a brilliant little unit, DAB and whatever. Sound system in this is phenomenal. And you've got a subwoofer, as we said below, the seat on the left hand side as well. And then under the armrest itself, you've got a storage area here. And again, that has got a USB charging point. Now this new cab is actually wider than the old one as well. And they've also here, they've moved the wiper because the mounting for the wiper was up here. It's now down there. They've been able to bring this up, and the wiper then, the arc is that way, which gives a better, much better actual clearing area. But the biggest thing for this cab, by a country mile, is how quiet it is. 66 decibels, this is. Best on the market. And it is really noticeable. Now at the moment I'm talking quite loud, but here's the best thing. I can talk quite softly and you can still hear me. That's the difference. It is at automotive levels. This is like car levels. And, you know, you notice it especially on the road. That's when tractors are actually the noisiest, when they're on the road. So you've got all the tyre noise, the road noise, vibrations, whatever. When you're out in the field and you've got her, you know, opened up and she's working on like draft work and they got that, just that perfect note, the sound drops away. So day in and day out, when you're in the field, this makes a big, big difference. And said 66 decibels is absolutely nothing. As I said, it's hard to explain just how quiet this is. It is honestly like having the door open and the door shut. That much difference. Well, that's how different it is, you know, sat in here than if you were sat in another Maker tractor. There's that much difference in sound levels. It's so quiet. Now, for those of you that have already seen some of the PR and all the push with the new T7 315 HD, one thing I think has stood out to a lot of people, and that's this. So, the engine display and all your information, as well as transmission and your linkage, is set here on this version in the centre of the steering wheel. Now, this is an option, and the standard fitment is actually back here behind the steering wheel. I know what most of you are thinking. Exactly the same thing that I thought. That's a bit strange, having it there. I mean, having a display, you know, right in front of you. I mean, heaven forbid that you'd have a display screen in front of your face. Now, on the earlier T7s, one or two people commented that with the old instrument binnacle down there, you having to look through the steering wheel right down into this, almost the depths of the dashboard to see anything. Can't remember who that was. You know, with the wheel where it is, I'm still sort of covering a lot of it with my hand, and I'm looking down and through the steering wheel. So New Holland have obviously listened and put it right in front of you where you want to see it. Like I say though, I was just the same. I know what you're all thinking, and some people have even said it, you know, you're going to catch, though. You're going to catch your sleeves or catch your hands on this. You're going to. But that just isn't so. I don't know how they've done it, whether it's how they've obviously thought of the angles and everything and where it's sat and how it's shaped. Let me assure you, that isn't an issue. Okay, so let's try it out, okay? So you're backing into a shed or something like that. You just, it's actually set in, the steering wheel's up beyond it. So it's, but People have said, and exactly the same as I thought, yeah, but if you've got big sleeves on a jacket or a pair of overalls, you're going to catch on the corners or something. Right, well, let's put that to the test. Right, let's do the big sleeve test. Let's do the really big sleeve test. So that's... It just doesn't catch. It can't catch. They're just... I don't know, it's just the corners of the way it's angled. So like the only way you're going to really catch your sleeve on that is if you went to work dressed as a wizard. So they've obviously thought it out really, really well. Now, when this first arrived and they said, look, this is the option, standard, it comes behind the steering wheel, I thought, well, that's good, because I wouldn't want this. My sleeves are going to catch, or it's just too, you know. So I'm glad they've got the standard being behind. Let me assure you, after an hour of having this, I wouldn't want it anywhere else. Okay, the second C, configurability. Basically, like everything in this day and age, whether it be a burger or, you know, a kitchen unit, everyone's like, well, have it your way, you know, we'll do it how you want it. And it's certainly no different with tractor manufacturers. Now, with the New Holland, you've got everything you want all up on here. Fantastic large display, very clear, you know, and easy to use and to follow, to the point that I forgot everything I was told about how to operate this, but I figured it out within 10 minutes. I think people's biggest fear is if they press something that they'll go into something else that they can't get out of. That's just not the case, because if you go to this, for instance, here's the controls, all your spools, all right, and they're color coded to the spool colors on the rear. But if, for example, I'm driving this and that's how I've got it set, I've got the orange one on valve number 5 and I've got the pink one here on valve 2, but my mate gets in here and he doesn't like it that way. He likes it the other way round. Well, he hasn't got to climb out, start swapping my pipes about, which would really annoy me. He can leave them where they are, how I like them, but right, he's got the first one on valve 5, well, he got that on valve 2, puts that on the valve 2, and look, it's gone blue. Or let's just say he wanted valve 3, that's now yellow. So you can change it all from up here. And once you got it set, you can then change this to the operator. So you could put in there, you know, Muck's controls or Dave's controls or whatever, and they'd press it and everything would be set how you prefer it. That easy. For sake of argument, we've got on here, you can go through on the screens here. So you've got all your engine eyes, you've got a camera, you can set that camera, you've got rear camera on at the moment, just how we've got it configured. You've then got all your, with your GPS and everything, and your ISO bus. We'll go back to that later. All your area, working area, the fields, you know, sizes and how much you've done, how much you've got to do. Front camera. Again, you got all your guidance on here, how you work all that. And obviously the ISO bus, as I said, we'll go back to that. There we are, you got your settings, diagnostics, productivity, just on like a flow chart. It's so you cannot get it wrong. Obviously you got your transmission and linkage, all that display is up on there. But everything you want is on this screen. It's brilliant. And as I said, it is so easy. If I can follow it through, anyone can. And again, people are like, oh yeah, but oh, there's all these here, and then there's all this and that. Right. Starting with your main controller here, so straightforward, and you've again got options however you prefer to use it. So you can use it on the joystick, you can set it just with these buttons here, forward and reverse. You got forward and reverse here on this shuttle, if you prefer that. You got options on this multi-controller here, which is an option. Very, very good though. If you were running, people are saying, you know, if you had it on a clamp, on a buck rake, front and rear, or front and rear mowers, you can do your front linkage, rear linkage, all off this, forward and reverse, speeds, everything, all on here on this one controller. Absolutely fantastic. Following on with, you know, New Holland's simple layout, I always say how to remember it all is, if it's orange, it's to do with speed and motion, forward and reverse. If it's black, it's to do with hydraulics, flow and linkage. And if it's yellow, it's PTO. That's it. Can't be any more simple than that. Again, you've got all your settings here, which you can go into for your fan speeds and blower and temperature. You can set that all, configure that to how you want it to be. Really, really nice thing. Once you settle your spools on here, slide that forward, put that down, it covers them. It's like a little safety feature. Very, very simple. Again, then the armrest, you can alter that. Again, what you know suits you, up or down. This display, swing it round here, swing it round there. You got mounting points for other boxes, you know, control boxes or screens, already here on big round mounts. So that's really, really good. Plus you got power points. As I said, you just configure this to exactly how you want it, and then you can set it and save it all for how you want it. And if you are running 2 drivers on it or multiple drivers, they can do the same. So you haven't got to get in, oh, he's been messing with my stuff again, and what's he got there? Just go, no, my one, click, and everything goes back to how you have it set. Okay, and now the final C, connectivity. As an example, Isobus. So like the likes of Isobus, obviously that system you can connect to other machines, other software, and obviously you can have stuff mounted up here, so all ties in. You're not just one manufacturer's standalone system. And the nice thing is this is all uploaded, you know, all the files can be uploaded, and with the telematics you've got, if you've got any issues, you can get the dealer to dial into what you're seeing real time, and, you know, hopefully diagnose any issues you've got or talk you through something, because they can see what you're seeing. But like I said, it's not their own, you know, special thing. Having Isobus, as I said, allows you to work with all other equipment, time with all other data programs you got and whatever. It's really, really good. You know, it's a no-brainer, really is. So, although there was a lot to take in, believe me, that was just a brief overview. As I always say, with whatever it is I'm looking at, it's just to give you a taste, a flavour. That's all it is. There's so much more I can tell you about this, but the best way is to look at one yourself. Then you can see all the other things they've got, all the other features, phenomenal features they've got on these. But like I said, you can just go on and you could look at, you could be here for days. It's fantastic. But I always do like to get another viewpoint. And in this instance, I managed to get Jonathan and Jay to come along and give me their view on the T7 315. Right, so we've got Jonathan. Now, Jonathan's pedigree is he was brought up with Ford tractors and went on to Ford New Hollands, and then he's gone to the dark side. Then we've got Jay, and Jay's basically been Ford New Holland, and now the current breed with the 270. So you've had a year or two on the blue stuff, haven't you?
1 or 2.
Yeah. And yeah, so really, I want to know, what you boys thought.
It's definitely a big improvement over the old model, I think.
Right, yeah.
Sort of just brought, yeah.
In what respect? What's
everything's up to date. The cab's definitely bigger, obviously.
yeah, oh yeah, without a doubt.
But yeah, all in all, yeah, the controls, especially like this in the dashboard, the display.
Now
that is good.
Yeah.
When I first got in it, I didn't think that was very practical, but look now after using it, it really is. Yeah, it's better than on the side, definitely.
What about, I know, you know, it's different things on the road's different and in the field is different, but what about noise wise? I mean, put your foot flat out, what do you think? I mean, I think that,
yeah, very quiet.
I mean, we genuinely, I mean, I don't know another tractor I've been able to just communicate this at this level.
Especially up here on the concrete, there's probably
noises you're going to get.
Than tarmac, isn't it? But yeah, definitely quiet. So quiet, yeah. Very good. Very easy to use as well. You know, quite simple on the screen and controls. You know, I think anyone could jump in it and drive it, to be honest.
Yeah.
When you first get in it, you sort of think, you do take a few seconds to think, what does that do? But you know, yeah, it's very straightforward, I think.
Yeah, and intuitive, isn't it?
Yeah, you can't, let's be honest, you can't really fault it. There's good visibility out the back window as well.
This is something that they've done. They have lowered the back window, so you, I mean, it is like being sat almost in a big high-rise building, isn't it? When you, it is though, when you have big old glass panels.
Yeah.
And that's the nice thing, because they've done that.
It's definitely, yeah, you can notice the visibility out the back, it's good. But definitely getting out that 270 into this one, you can, yeah, there's a massive improvement.
Yeah.
In the cab
yeah.
feel, you know, the width, and just feels, yeah, a different tractor really, to be honest. But so yeah, all in all, very good, I think. Yeah, very good.
So this is the 270, but this is what year is this?
This is 2021. It was new home to us in the April.
So that's basically the outgoing version that it was on the 315, this cab.
Yes.
Yeah. So, but what you said something to me the other day about you can actually physically show the size difference.
Yes. If you sit in the seat, hold your arms out, you see you can physically touch the windows either side. Right. So here we have the cab on the 315. As you can see,
you're having to stretch now.
I'm having to stretch now to actually reach the windows.
So there is almost like a hand's difference.
Almost a hand's difference.
Yeah.
And that's just on the side pillars. We now have room behind the seat as well. You can actually stick your coat down there without it getting all crumpled up.
So there you go, Jay. What do you reckon? What's your just overall impression? What do you think?
Overall impression, first of all, I got to say, the screen in the steering wheel, I didn't quite know what to make of that when I saw it all advertised.
I don't think any of us did.
I found that you actually don't take a lot of notice of it when you're actually driving the tractor.
Yeah.
But it's there where it's visible. Having a T8 on farm, we don't actually have the screen in the steering wheel. The screen is actually in the
behind
dash.
the back there, yeah.
What you tend to find is, to be able to see that, you tend to set your steering wheel where you're not comfortable. It's not where you normally sit it. You tend to have it, you perhaps have it a little lower so that then you can actually see the screen.
So having it there
is a positive.
Yeah.
The thing that jumps out at you about this tractor is the noise level in the cab. That's physically quieter than what the existing T7 cabs are.
And that is noticeable, isn't it?
Oh, it's night and day. It's like you referred to before, it's like having the cab door open and the cab door shut.
It is that much different. And I think that's something, that's one of those things again where you can say what you like on video, you can write it in a review, you can, you know, do whatever you like. The best way to do it is, like I always try and encourage people, no matter what colour you're looking at, if you look at, you know, as many options as possible, you do see things. And I think anyone that does try this cab on this New Holland, like on the, say, the 290 and the 315 HD, I think the sound level, 66 decibels, I think they will be really surprised, pleasantly surprised. initial thing, because I said you've gone from being, driving something else now for a lot of years to having to go in this, so it's different for you totally.
Totally different, yeah. I think, like I said before, I think it's definitely a big improvement over the old ones.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're really up the game, I think.
Yeah.
I can't really fault it. Like I said, the only maybe because they made the cab a little bit wider, the back pillars wider, I think while they were doing it, maybe they could have just made the front screen a little wider as well.
The two front pillars.
Just move them out
a bit.
Just a touch.
Yeah.
But apart from that, yeah.
There's always room for improvement, whatever.
You can pick holes in anything, but yeah, I think overall, yeah, I love the dashboard in the steering wheel. I think that's really good.
Yeah.
Visibility out the back windows, good.
Yeah.
Because I dropped that down. But yeah,
I think you're going to get people that obviously will always say, no matter what, whether it's this video or another one they're watching, oh yeah, my so-and-so had that years, they had that system years, or they had that little detail years ago. But that's just how things progress, isn't it? That's how everything does it. Somebody leaps ahead, somebody then everybody else sort of catches up, then, you know what I mean? And that's why we're where we are now, isn't it? Because without that, we'd still be stuck on something like a grey Fergie.
So there's nothing wrong with the old model, but I think
you've got to move forward.
They move forward. I always found the cab a bit tight on the older models compared with competitors, but with this one, I think they really have brought it on.
I think the biggest thing I think though, which I think a lot of manufacturers in the past, they've brought new stuff out, but for the sake of just bringing out something newer than the competitors. Whereas I think everything on this is the difference. I think everything on this is there for a reason. Something I thought, I know it's a tiny little thing, but the hand throttle, I just think that could be a bit more robust. In fact, the model that you've got, the one that's gone out, that seemed to have a bit more of a sort of thumb area, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
That one seemed to be that's perfectly adequate. For me, that's just something I thought could be improved. I mean, where would you go? Something that if you could say to them, "Look, this needs improvement," what would?
Position of the exhaust brake. They've gone back to
the
early 7.610s had.
As dual power.
As dual power on your left heel, and to me, they've gone backwards.
So that could be changed. Yeah.
The natural thing for most people is they're in a panic situation. They're going for a clutch and a brake together.
Yeah.
Or, as in most of the New Hollands now, what are out currently, you go for the exhaust brake and the brakes together.
Yeah.
Which is positioned right next to the clutch.
Yeah. All right. So, on the flip side of that, we've said the things that we could probably find to improve. Nothing major. And your favourite part of it, the bit that stood out to you the most in that tractor.
The console in the steering wheel, yeah.
That display.
The display, the display, for me, yeah.
Visibility out the back of the tractor, by far.
And that, yeah. I'd go with
That was
as well.
that deep window,
that deep windows.
The deep window is just...
Yes, noticeable.
You know what? For me, very similar. I'm going to say, without doubt, that display. The thing I thought was going to be the bit would really annoy me became the bit I loved the most was that display in the centre, and I think just how quiet it was. What a place to be. So, there we go, muckers. T7 315. There was a lot went into that. Took a lot of time to do, but it was well worth it. Really enjoyed it. In fact, the film was one of my favourite ones, I think, so far. Just had a good time doing it. And going on for this year, we got a lot of stuff happening on the channel. I'd like to be able to tell you about it, but I can't, because even I don't know at the moment. We're just in the middle of so much and putting so much in place, but it'll be good. Now, I was filming with Matt yesterday with the Matadors. It's So we've got some more Matador stuff coming up. We're going to have a bit of a catch up, show you what's been going on in the last few months with each of the various Matadors. Some you've seen before, some you haven't. Now before we go too far, see, I was following both this and you to that said rally.
Yes.
You weren't sparing the horses at all, were you? Do you think you may have caused some of that problem?
None of it.
None of it. Nothing to do with you
Nothing
whatsoever.
No.
So right, you got the old death knock.
I've got the death knock.
Right. Had a good time down there as ever, and we've got 1 or 2 good things coming up with Matadors this year. So if you're not up to speed with what we've got going on, be it with the Matadors and trucks and obviously all the various tractors, both mine and the Fudd Weasels and whatever, just go back into my library, the videos and some of the playlists. You can do it there. Will It Starts, always getting asked about Will It Starts, and we've got some good ones coming up this year. So it's just a case of getting out on location and sticking a battery on, I think, and we'll see what we can do. Now, once you've caught up with all my videos, get up to speed with those, then go and have a look what George has been up to, and obviously Kimberly, what she's been doing, and the old Fudd Weasel. George and I are going to be filming stuff for Talking Point, plus we're going to do some more podcasts on there as well, if you haven't already gone and listened to those. So just so much going on. But yeah, like I say, when I know a bit more with what's going on with this channel and where we're going, and don't worry, everything's not just going to change drastically, it's going to get better, I suppose. Got to do, we've got better opportunities coming up, which is really, really good, really exciting. But we'll be able to do more stuff in the workshop. We'll be able to go out and about on site and at various locations. More of that. So yeah, got all that stuff coming up. But as I said, when I know more, I'll let you know. What? Come on then. Oops. What? Is it that time again? Yes, it is. Well, it looks like it is. So, until the next one. Do well.